Started. All right, so good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So this morning training, we're going to be going over the small group process on how to enroll a small group with Carmela Papiai and Kayla Ferriero. We're going to be going over what we do from our end as agents and what we as agents don't see on our end, more so what is happening behind the scenes. So when we have a client that asks what the next step is, we as agents will have a better understanding of what is happening along the way. If you have any questions, please feel free to type those into the chat box and we'll make sure we get to those along the training, and we'll also open it up for questions as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the ladies. So Carmela, we will start with you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad that you joined our group training. Basically, right now, Jamie has the face screen of group training. Can you go to the next page? Basically, this is how to fill in a census when I send it to you, so you could send it to your client to fill in. Basically, on line 1, where it says agent's name, your name would go in that spot. So we know who, when you send it to me, I know who it goes to and what I'm doing. And of course, the appointed carrier is going to depend on what carrier that you're going to. Basically, I left it blank because with Sunsure is licensed with all carriers, and we know the agents are only licensed with Florida Blue and Florida Healthcare Plan. So if you sell a United Healthcare group, Sunsure is going to be the agent on it, but you're the one going to be paid on it. Okay. Basically, the broker email is my email because everything comes to me with my phone number. They call me. They don't call you. I'm the back end of your group. You are the face of your group because you are the agent of the group. The next line, it says effective date. That is the effective date of the group that you're looking for. So say your group wants a March 1 effective date, you would put March 1 of 2022. The next line, it says annual renewal date. If your group already has group insurance, that date would go in there when they renew their group. But if they don't have no group insurance, you would just leave that blank. The next line is the legal name of the company, of what the company does, their address and zip code and state. Then the next line is nature of business, of what the company does. You need to know that. If they're construction, you just put construction in that box. Do you want to open it up so if anybody has any questions? Okay, then I'll go down where it says current lines of coverage, medical and auxiliary. Basically, if it's a virgin group and they have no group insurance, you would put a check next to that virgin group. If they currently already have a group coverage, you would check current carrier, and then you put what carriers within the medical, the dental, the vision, the life, and disability. Then you go to the next line to see if they have, if it's an owner has one company but has another company on the side with his wife. We need to know if it's a common ownership because they may want to offer them also.
I'm gonna get my umbrella.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm going to go to the next box where it says enter the total number of employees on the commonly owned business. On the calendar year. Basically, I need to know how many full-time employees there are. If they're taking it or not, I need to know how many full-time employees there are. On the part-time, it's not necessary, but I'd like it to be there. And then the total on payroll. So you add those two together and that would be a total number of employees. But basically, what I really need is the full-time employees. Anybody working 25 hours or more is considered full-time employees. The next box would be required products. Basically, you're going to go medical, dental, vision, life, disability. Most people, I try to always quote all the products, dental, vision, life, and dental, because if I quote just medical, 3 days down the line, the company says, well, you know, the medical is really good, but I'm really thinking about dental and vision. So I just automatically quote it. You don't have to present it, but it's there for your, just in case you need that. And then when you go down to requested carriers, I need to know what carriers that you want me to quote, being Aetna, Florida Blues, Humana, United, any of those carriers. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
Carmela, is there any way we could have these available without having gone to a group yet, so we can look at it?
Say that one more time, you kind of break it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just wondering if we could have one of these forms to look at before we see a group.
Yes, yes. But basically, when you get the census, it has to be in an Excel spreadsheet sent to me so I can get it quoted with Roger's benefit.
Okay, thank you.
And I have helped out some agents where they'll just, you know, email me a census on the old sheets, and then I type it into the Excel spreadsheet. But that's if I have time, I'll help you out. If I don't, I can't. But I'll do as much as I can to help you guys out.
Excuse me. So I think what she was saying, is it possible, can we get this form ahead of time so that we kind of familiarize ourselves with
Yes.
what we're looking?
All you have to do is email me and I could send you the census. Not a big deal. I could do that.
Thank you.
Our agents call me and I send it to them under their request. Does anybody have any other questions? I could go to the next page. This is where it gets really serious. In the yellow, basically that is just showing an example of what needs to be put in there. Basically, if it's a family, you're going to put employee, the spouse, and all the children, their last name, their first name, their gender. The data hire is not, it doesn't have to be there. They ask for it, but if it's blank, it's okay. I definitely need their date of birth and everyone's zip code. And what type of coverage they're looking for, either family, employee only, employee spouse, or if they're waiving. As you can see, the last one, Jane Smith is waiving coverage because she doesn't want the medical. And then you go to the dental division. You would fill it in. Some people have on the dental coverage, the first employee, John Doe, has employed children on his coverage for dental. And on the vision, he just wants himself and his wife. And of course, on the annual salary, that is for the life insurance. But with group life insurance, we don't have to have an annual salary because it's guaranteed issue. If you have 4 people that are full-time on the group, each employee only gets $30,000 per employee. None of their dependents get life insurance, only the employee only for $30,000. Does anybody have any questions? I take it there's no questions?
Now, Carmela,
Yes,
isn't it very, very important that when you get a census back, it needs to have all of the employees listed that are eligible?
yes, all employees that are full-time have to go on this sheet. I'm sorry about that. You are absolutely.
Even if they have coverage through a spouse's employer?
Yes, well, that's where I explained on Jane Smith that she was waiving the medical. They could waive all the way through it. They are full-time, they are eligible, they're just not accepting the insurance at this moment in time. So it's only for full-time employees on the sheet. Okay, was that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, this is going to the quoting process. Basically, once you send me the census and everything, I will call you and ask you, basically, what are you guys looking for? An HMO, a PPO, point of service, FHCP. I kind of want to know what the group is looking for. So when I get it quoted, we get plans that you are asking for, so we can sell this group. This is basically a group that I have quoted with another agent here. And you can kind of see this is the proposal that's sent back to me from Rogers Benefit. It'll give the company name, the effective date of the group, and it's from Rogers Benefit. You can see proposal date is February 1, the coverage date is February 1. But we know February is over, we cannot quote for February at this moment in time. We'd have to go to March or February 15th. Now, on the 15th of the month groups, some carriers do it and some do not. The ones that do not is FHCP, do not do a 15th of the month. It's only the first of the month. Go to the next page. That's just basically telling you the plans, the network size, and just stuff that you need to know with Florida Blue. Next page. Next page. Okay, this is a quote that I asked for Rogers. I did a blue option, a blue care, just because that's what they kind of wanted. They wanted good plans for the owners of the company, and they wanted a blue care for the employees. So if you go to the next page, you'll see the rate for each employee, what it would cost. So if the employee is, say, 30 years old, it would be $433.13 for that person, either male or female. And say he has a spouse who is 28 years old, her premium would be $414.81. So you would add those two numbers together, and that would be employee spouse rate. And if they had any children, say they just had a baby, that baby would cost $291.93. You'd add all those three numbers, and that's what the plan would be for that family rate. Now, if they have two children, it would be times two, $291.93 times two. On this group, it happens to be a group of under 10. And what that means is under 10 means table rated. If they were composite rated, all employees would have the same rate, employee spouse would have the same rate, employee children would have the same rate, and family would be the same rate. It would be, all the numbers would be added together. But this happens to be table rated group, so it's under 10 employees. Does anybody have any questions? If not, let's go to the next page. Basically, on the bottom, it's still more plans as the blue care, and I put a Simply Blue in there. Next page. And it gives the rates for these plans also. So you just go by the employee age and just add it that way. Next page. More health plans. Next page. Next page. Here is the dental. Some plans, these are co-payment plans I did. Now, if you have a group of 4, all 4 of the employees have to enroll because it's a voluntary plan for dental. If, say, you have 7 people, 4 people have to take the group, 3 people can waive off. Go to the next page. And you could see here the rate for the first one, the Blue Dental Choice Plan, for each employee would be $16.50, and so on. 60 cents, I'm sorry. I didn't have my glasses on. And our family rate would be $56.68. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I'm sorry, maybe I missed something. This is what you prepared after you received all the information from us. This is what would come back after you guys, after we gather all the information you need and we submit it. This is what comes back. Does this come back to us or does this go back to the employer?
It goes back to me and I forward it to you. And if you have any questions as the agent, I would help you in any possible way I can. And then you would forward it over to the group, to whoever you're dealing with. And if you want me on the phone, I can help you in any way possible to help you sell the group. Because I'm the back end of the group.
Okay, thank you.
Administrator.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, let's go to the next page. This is basically more rates for the dental. Next page. This is your vision. These are Blue Cross only has 6 plans of the vision, so you can pick from 1 to 6. On the these are basically the summary of benefits. Of course, 6 being the best. You could go to the next page. And you can see how inexpensive it is. For plan 1, it's $6.30, up to $13.92 for plan 6. And basically, it's similar. Basically, I sell a lot of plan 4s because it's under $10. I have sold Vision 1 and I have sold Vision 6. On this, you have to have 4 people enrolled to do this because it is a voluntary plan. If the employer wants to pay 100% of the premium, the rates are a little different by a couple of pennies. Not much, but a little bit. Does anybody have any questions? Next page. This is the life insurance. Basically, as you can see, it's the life benefit is $30,000. This is only for the employee only. So the basic group life is $12. Then you go to the basic AD&D of $9.60. So you would add the $12 plus $9.60. That's your total monthly premium each month. It'll be $21.60 each month for all those employees. That's a no-brainer, guys. And does anybody have any questions? Now I get this from all carriers. We just kind of do Florida Blue because that's what everybody sort of does. But we can do other carriers.
All right, Carmelo.
Yeah.
with the life, does the employer have to pay for everyone?
Yes, that is that's not voluntary. That's an employer paid plan.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, plus for everybody else to hear.
Well, now if you have say you have 5 employees and one says, I don't believe in life insurance, I don't want it, they don't have to take it. But 4 people have to enroll in the life insurance to get the group.
Okay, thank you.
Now, if anybody has a current group that's already with Florida Blue, we can do an agent of record letter on their company letterhead as you being the agent, signed by either the owner or the group administrator who's ever on file with Florida Blue, so we can move that business over to you and to Sunsure. I know Otis that had one that him and I called, and the lady only had 2 employees. I explained exactly what we need. I said we only do 4 plus. She said, wait a minute, I have 2 more employees I want to add. So she added those 2 employees. We became agent of record. She was so happy with Otis and I. She came back to me saying, Carmela, I need dental vision in life. And I said, not a problem. I got her the quote, and it sold for a March 1 effective date. I'm just waiting on one more thing from her. I have 95% of the paperwork, and I'm sending it in once I have everything. So that's a good job for Otis.
And guys, Carmela is really good when talking to employers about other products. So even as an agent, if you talk to a group and they're only interested in health, when Carmela talks with them and helps you assist them, she mentions constantly that we do offer additional benefits to employers and groups. And one of the groups she was helping me with, we ended up getting a life insurance with as well. So Carmela is really good at helping you as an agent add other products to the group sale.
I mean, any agent here could ask Jamie or Kayla of what I do in the back end of your group. And anything that a client either emails me or calls me, I always let the agent know exactly what I did. So the agent is always on top of everything because you are the agent of record. I am not an agent. I'm just an administrator for Sunsure.
Yes, and I will vouch for that. If there is anything that Carmela, first and foremost, she's a wealth of knowledge. And anything when it comes to servicing your group, she is on top of it immediately. If you have a group that has employees that are constantly being added or needing to be termed, or you need to get a temp card, right then and there, I mean, she is literally on top of it immediately. I have one group in particular, they email me constantly for things. So I am in constant communication with Carmela on a weekly basis, if not almost daily, for this particular group. So she holds my hand, I must say, and she's tremendous at what she does. So I can't say enough good things about her. It's definitely incredible to have her on our team for sure. So yeah, I love the fact that we have her.
Thank you so much. And if I don't know something, I will tell you right up front if I don't know it, and I will find out that answer. I will get it in writing right back to you, so we both know that it's whatever the answer may be, so you guys understand what's going on.
And just a couple of questions, Carmela. What's the minimum like employer contribution that they have to pay as far as like percentage, as far as groups are concerned?
Great question. I totally forgot about that. On the employer side, the employer pays 50% of the employee only rate. So say the employee rate is $100. The employee pays 50 and the company pays 50. And say they have a child that costs $25. The employer pays 0, the employee would pay 75, 50 for himself and 25 for his child each month. Now, sometimes employers pay a percentage of the dependents, not a lot of times, but normally they only pay for mostly of the employee only rate. Now, if it's an employee only rate and it's age banded as we see it on this group, he could pay exactly what the lowest cost plan is. If you have a 4-man group, you could have 2 plans on a group. He would pay the lowest premium of 50%, whatever that rate is. So there's a lot of different things you can do with group that I'd have to go through so many things that I would make your head go crazy because there's so much information that needs to be learned. And it's a day-to-day thing that I do every day, and I teach agents all the time.
And speaking of plans offered, so I know like in the proposal, as we're going through it, I know there's a lot of plans that we see within the proposal that when we're sitting down with the employer and we're going over, and there's obviously a lot of different plan options. We narrow it down. So depending on the group size, we're not actually offering all of those plan options. We narrow it down depending on the group size. Like depending on that group size, there's a limit as to how many plans we can actually offer. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. Mostly 4+ groups could have 2 groups, 10 could have 3 plans. And all.
We do have a document that does show that, don't we have a document that
I
shows?
do have that. I mean, I can email that out to anybody. That's not a problem. But that's really not necessary because we want to make sure the group is going to enroll in whatever plan. And then
Okay.
at that time, we could say, well, we could only have 2 plans or 3 plans, and we could pick 3 of those plans. With this group, they wanted a high cost, a medium cost, and a low cost plan. So that's kind of the rates that I did for the company. And then it's being sold as we speak for a March 1 effective date. And don't forget, each quarter the rates change. So January, February, March are the first quarter. April's coming up, so that's going to be the second quarter. They don't go up by much, but they do go up. The dental and vision normally stay the same. Life is normally the same. The only thing that goes up is the medical.
Perfect. You guys have any other questions before we move on? Okay.
But I am available from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. I'll be more than happy to help anybody out, either with the agent and the client. Anything that you guys need, I'm here for you. And if you just want to do it one-on-one, I'm here.
Carmela,
Yes.
this is Suni. Hey, I know there's something about when you have, I learned something when I did my group with you. When you have a less than 10 employee, it goes by the age, correct? And if it's over 10, and then that goes by whatever the plan is.
Correct.
Module, okay.
Now, Suni is an example. I did a group with her.
Yeah, and I have to say, and Michelle, my client, she's always texting, always emailing, asking for invoice, adding people, and doing this and that. And Carmela is on top of it every time, all the time. So I thank you for that, Carmela.
Thank you.
I just also wanted to add to that. I've been doing group for a long time here at Sunsure. And before Carmela, group was a process that sometimes made me want to pull my hair out. And something I found is the smaller the group, the more problems they have. Might not necessarily be true, it just might be something that I went through. But with Carmela being on our team, she has made the process of renewing my groups and working with new groups so simple. I can't say that I've dealt with a difficult client since Carmela's been here because she helps out so much. So not that the clients are any more or less difficult with Carmela here, but she just makes the process so simple because as an agent during open enrollment, our over 65 and under 65 individual sales take up so much time. But a lot of groups, they do their initial enrollment and they have their renewals around the same time. So they have that January 1st effective date and the plan renews on that date every year. And it just makes it hard dealing with a group and all of our individuals. And with Carmela, I have to say that this renewal time and open enrollment period was simplified for me. She really makes the process simple and she's just so wonderful to work with. So if you have any questions for Carmela, I strongly advise you giving her a call because she is excited to answer any questions you have about group.
Thank you, Carol. I do want to say one other thing. Since I've been here, and I haven't been here that long, I've been here since June 1st. Since that time, I have brought in 12 groups for Sunsure with the agents. And I think that's really good. That's averaging about 2 a month. And I'm very happy at that. I want to sell more groups with you guys so we could get this as a Blue Diamond agency. Does anybody else have any questions?
Something I would like to add is during this process, when we are working with the groups, after we get the quotes and we talk to the groups or the employers and all of that good stuff, if they require us to go out and meet with them, Rogers Benefit Group will have one of their agents come out with you and help you explain everything and help you with the enrollment process, as well as Carmela being a major player in that as well. But Rogers will go out with you and they will help you when it comes to doing the group as well. And I am always available to ask questions too, because like I said, I have been working on the group side of things with Sunsure for a long time. And it is intimidating when you first get started, but after you know the procedures and how to do an enrollment, everything is exactly the same as the individual insurance as far as picking the plans and explaining the plans. It's just the enrollment process that's a little bit different. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask anybody on this call.
When you guys ask me a question to set up an appointment with Rogers to come out with you, I set that up for you, or we could have a three-way conversation with the agent, myself, and Rogers. Rogers kind of only wants one person dealing with them because they don't want a lot of people, a lot of agents calling for little simple things that I may know the answer. But if I don't know the answer, I will get Rogers on the phone with the agent so they can hear that answer. Or if I email them, they will email us back the answer so you guys have the answer. But if you guys need an appointment with Rogers, I will set that up. They only come out when it's enrollment time. They don't go out to try to sell the group for you, but they will speak to anybody over the phone to help you out and sell the group.
Carmela, can I just ask a quick question? Can you elaborate a little bit on Rogers? Because a lot of agents are confused as to who exactly Rogers is and what their role exactly is.
All right, basically, we here at Sunsure are an agency, and we cannot submit groups to the carriers. So we have to have a general CGA submit them for us. And Rogers Benefit is a Sunsure's agent fee. They don't get any kind of money from your commission. They get it from the carrier. So whatever your commission is, you're getting that commission of 50% for yourself and 50% for Sunshore. Rogers takes nothing. They help us out in getting things completed.
Thank you. I know there's a lot of confusion when it comes to Rogers as to exactly who they are in that role. So thank you.
From you as a group. And they also help with renewals also. If I need their help, they help me out. And I deal with 3 different Rogers benefits. Depending on where the agent is at. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yes, I do. So we never contact Rogers ourselves. We go through you, correct, Carmela?
Correct, correct. I'm your go-between. You yell at me, I yell at them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I know before it was a lot different. I do processes different than the previous person that was in my position. Hopefully it goes a lot smoother.
All right. Well, I think we can move on to the contract process now.
Right, that's perfect. Once you sell the group and you're deciding, say this is for instance, we're going to Florida Blue as the group. This is what I would send to you. Basically, it's just general information of the group. Basically, the general agency name is Rogers Benefit. That would go there because they're our agent. This happens to be Lillian Cohen. She's here in West Palm Beach. That really should be blank. It was my mistake. I didn't write it out before I sent it, but I deal with all of it, all 3 of Rogers Benefit. The next to that is the writing agent. That would be your name. And then your agent of record number, your agency number. Then you go down to group eligibility and what products that you guys are selling. Health, you would check off health, dental, vision, life. After that is the business type. You would check off if they're a corporation, a partnership, sole proprietor, or something else. The next one is if everybody receives a W-2. Now, this is tricky. If there is W-2 employees, you would check yes. If nobody's a W-2, you would check no. On groups, you must have at least 1 W-2 employee for a group. Everybody else can be 1099, but you have to have 1 on a W-2. Now, understand that agents, you're 1099. I work for Sunsure, so I'm a W-2. That is a little example. Basically, all our groups are fully insured. Unless you're selling an Aetna product, that would be a funding arrangement. The next line is the control group. If you are commonly owed to another group, if an owner has 2 ownerships in 2 different companies, that's either a yes or a no. And then you would write down the what other company they're with. The next line is employee waiving without coverage. That means a total refusal, not wanting insurance at all. You would put that number there. After the next line, it says employees waiving with other coverage. You would put the number there. And then the next line is number of total on payroll. That would mean everybody on payroll, either part-time, full-time, anybody, that number would go there. The next line, part-time and seasonal, you would put that number there if they have to be part-time or seasonal. And if anybody is currently on COBRA, the next line, company information, Basically, that would be the name of the company that you're working with. And if they have a DBA, that would go doing business as. SIC code basically is what the company does. If they're construction, what type of construction? I would get that for you. That's not a problem. Their tax ID number, I would have to have that. When you send me the tax ID, the quarterly tax report, I would get that number off of that and write it in where the tax ID number goes. Next page. On top, the physical address will be the company address, city, state, zip code. If they have a different mailing address, that would go on the second line. If it's the same, you just leave it blank. Coverage information will be the date that the policy is effective. Religious exemption, we never really fill that out. It's normally blank unless you're writing a church. The contract period, normally 99% of groups are calendar year. Calendar year would be from January 1st to December 31st. That's 99% of our groups. We do have one or two groups that are non-calendar year. That would mean, like, say, their group started March 1st. That would be from March 1st until February 28th of the year, of the next year. That's what means non-calendar year.
Now, also, I want to add, when a group is non-calendar year, their policy is just like any other policy. The benefits are from January 1st to December 31st, even though their renewal date is a different time. So, for example, if May is a group's renewal, their deductibles and benefits reset January 1st.
That's not true. Not true. That's not true.
Really?
No, a non-calendar year means the deductible starts March 1st and it ends February 28th. The renewal is March.
I had a group that was not the case, but then that group might have been the only one.
Well, it depends how the contract is written.
Mhm.
I try to write calendar year because of the fact everybody remembers January 1st to December 31st. When it's a non-calendar year, it's a nightmare and a half. Now, if the group currently has group coverage with another carrier and we move them to Florida Blue and they have a non-calendar year, we can mark the new group as calendar and whatever deductible they met through their prior carrier would carry over to Florida Blue, depending on when they sign up with Florida Blue. The same goes for the dental, calendar year or non-calendar year. The next line would be employer contribution. You can see health minimum 50%, all that would be 50%. And the employer could pay whatever he wants on the dependent. The same as the dental and vision and life, he'd have to pay 100% on the life. And if he wanted to pay something on the dental and the vision, he can. That's up to the employer. The next line is the prior carrier information that we would get from you. Basically, we would get a prior bill for those products so we can move everybody over with their deductible to the new carrier that we sell. Basically, the next line is workers' compensation. Compensation, we just need to know the carrier that they're with. The next line, continuation of coverage. If you have a group 20 plus, that's COBRA. If they're less than 20, they have Florida continuation. Now, if they have federal COBRA, I suggest always using Florida Blue as their administrator. It's easier that way, so we just call Florida Blue. They're the ones that mail out the paperwork directly to the employee that's been terminated, and we go on, we keep on moving on. If you have a third-party company, we have to go through different channels. Does anybody have any questions? Next page.
Carmela, I think there's a couple of questions in the chat box.
Okay. Who determines an effective date? Well, depending on when you're selling the group, it's either the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month. There's no other dates. And if you have 1099 employees, you can do a group, but you have to have at least one employee that's a W-2. Does anybody have any other questions? Thank you. Okay, next page. Basically, all the groups that I have sold here at Sunsure, and I've seen the groups that Sunsure already has, every group that is sold is basically a single employer plan. The next line is if you're multiple, it's a no. Our company employs 20 or more, that would be yes or no, depending on how many employees that the company has. The new hire term of position is the waiting period. 99% of the groups are first day of billing cycle. And what that means is if I was hired today, okay, as of January 25th, and I have a 0 pay day, my effective date would be February 1st, because it's the first of the month after 0 days. If I was date of hire, as of today, 0 days, my effective date for medical insurance would start today, not in no other days. A lot of people I see here write date of hire with 30 days, so it's 30 days from the day of hire. And that counts weekends also, so it's 30 days, exactly 30 days. It's not you hire January 1 and your effective date's February 1. It doesn't work like that. The most you can have is a waiting period is 90 days. You can't go over that. When we're selling a group, if you hired somebody today and your effective date is, say, February 1st, you could waive my enrollment as yes. If you don't, I have to satisfy the waiting period. On the termination, if I was hired today, I was fired tomorrow, my date of termination would be tomorrow. If on the last day of the billing cycle, I was hired today, my last day of insurance would be January 31st. Does anybody have any questions? The next is basically the plans that you're selling. You would put whatever plan is for the medical, whatever dental, whatever vision, and the basic life. Normally, basic life is class 1 because small group is only there's only one class. If you're selling an HSA, you could either use Florida Blue as their financial person, or you could find another HSA bank. I basically would prefer using Florida Blue because everything that we have with Florida Blue is easier to work with to get answers ASAP fast. Does anybody have any questions? Next page. This is basically, once the group is sold, the company fills this out because it has to be signed on the next page. It's basically general information that the person that is the decision maker goes on here. And then when the group is enrolled, they will get an echo signed signature to get the rates approved that we're submitting. Next page. We're missing a page. Basically, it's asking for a canceled check, or if they want to take it out of their bank account for the initial enrollment. That we're missing a page. Does anybody have any questions? Next page. Here's the application that Rogers Benefits provides to me. Basically, this group, you'd have the company name, the effective date of the group, the name of the employee, their social security, their date of birth, their gender, and if they have any dependents. And then they go down to what plans they're asking for. This happens to be a dental, vision, and life insurance. So they would check off employee only on the dental, employee only on the vision, and of course, automatically it's paid for by the employer on the life insurance. And don't forget, they have to have a beneficiary. If they don't have a beneficiary, it gets, it does go through, just go to the state of, and then the employee signs it. If they happen to waive coverage and they don't want anything, they would fill in the box below the products that they're waiving. It'd say for myself, or my spouse, or my children. But I can go over that once the group is sold, and let you know how to exactly do it. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, once that's all done and I submit the group to Rogers, Rogers then sends it all to Florida Blue. Once it's submitted by Florida Blue, it goes to the e-sign. What happens on the e-sign, the client gets it first, so they can approve the rates. Once it's signed by the group, then it goes to the agent. The agent then e-signs. Once that's done, that's when the money comes out of the account for the medical, dental, whatever it's sold. It goes out of their account. And then the process starts where they're going to start getting ID cards and any information. Approval letters comes to me. Sometimes it does go to the group, but I always send it to the agent because that's my contact. Does anybody have any questions? Suni, if you can kind of say something here of how we submitted one of your groups, of how it all worked.
You mean the process, or how I started and how we ended?
Yeah. Once I submitted it to Florida Blue after it was done, and then the e-sign went to your client and they signed it, and then it came to you to sign it.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's the end of it. You know, it went very smooth. I mean, that's everything is electronic. And, you know, I mean, clients get their, you know, applications, everything is there. So, and then the payment is submitted. Everything is like so fast. Once all that first step is done, the contracting at the end is the easiest part. I mean, and again, Carmela is always on top of it, making sure that they received the email, they signed it properly, and, you know, and then I have to sign it as well as the agent. So yeah, and then after that, everything is great. I mean, you know, they are enrolled at the effective date that they signed up for. If we have any hiccups or anything, and Carmela is there. So yes, the process was very smooth and fast.
Does anybody have any questions? Well, I thank you for joining our group training. And if you need any help, oh, go ahead. What's this? Go, Jamie, go to the next page.
Oh, this is just at the very end when they'll get their package. It'll say, you know, the
Oh,
welcome to whatever the carriers.
That's as a welcome package that's sent to me, and then I forward it over to the agent, and then the agent forwards it over to the client. Even though they get it, I just have to make sure that the agent gets it, so they have more contact with the group. And depending on what carrier it is, they'll get that approval letter. It's really that simple. It's really simple. I make nothing hard. I make it all easy so everybody understands what's going on.
So just to, quick question. So all the documents that you were just going over, like the contract process and stuff like that, those are documents that you fill out, correct? On your end, like we as the agents are pretty much just responsible for getting that census filled out. And then
Right.
the back end, you're pretty much doing everything else for us. I mean, we can do that, but you make our life so much easier by getting all of the documents that you literally just went over. You're responsible. I mean, not responsible, but you, like I said, make our lives easier by
Correct.
getting those filled out. She is awesome, guys. I can't say enough good things about Carmela, but she wanted to just, you know, show you the ins and outs of what is happening behind the scenes. So as far as what we do as agents, it's that census. That's what we do as far as getting the census filled out, and then everything goes to Carmela, and then she is pretty much getting all the rest of the documentation filled out. I mean, of course, if you want to work on those documents with her, she's more than happy, but she makes our life so easy, and it's just awesome to have her on our side. So she just wanted to show you what's happening behind the scenes, which is really, really.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The only thing that the client has to fill out is the e-sign paperwork and their banking information. I can't do that, because that has to be signed. Other than that, we're good. I can fill out everything else for you. And if the employees fill out and sign, and if there's a mistake, I can get that corrected before I send it out. I'll help you in any way I possibly can. The only thing is I will not lie on an application. I always tell the truth.
And Carrie had something really nice to say to you in the chat box.
Okay.
Other than that, do you guys have any other questions for Carmela or Kayla?
I do. Because I've never done a group before, I'm just wondering, I know we're not allowed to contact our individual people. You know, they have to contact us. Is that the same way with group, or are we allowed to contact them?
I think I'm understanding what you're saying. I think you said something about individual, you contact agent service center, and then with group, you do the same thing. But basically you go through me and I will get those answers for you if it's within a group.
Vicky, are you talking about like reaching out to try to get groups?
Yes.
Business? Yeah,
Yes.
you can reach out and try to get groups on your own. You can do walk-in talks, however it is that you want to try to reach out to get groups. You're more than welcome to get out there and try to get groups.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, she's probably referring to like a Medicare, like how Medicare is like an advantage. You can't reach out to the clients, but it's not a thing with the individual or group.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah,
Jamie?
Medicare, yeah, Medicare, it's
Only Medicare Advantage, right?
yeah, Medicare, you're very limited. It's it's strict when trying to reach out to Medicare individuals. But as far as on the individual, like under 65, and group side, you can definitely get out there and try to earn that business any which way that you can.
Just remember one thing, there is no open enrollment for group. Open enrollment is all year long,
Okay,
okay? And my suggestion is it's best to wear a Florida blue shirt and walk and talk to businesses. Because once they see you're a real person and you have some knowledge, or if you need my help, I'll be more than happy to be on a phone call with you and the client to get that group sold, or do an agent of record letter to whatever carrier that they're with. So everybody's happy. Because I know nowadays with the scamming going on, and telemarketing is not the way to go.
okay. Carmela, I just want to say I'm so glad you had this meeting, and I'm glad you're there to help us.
I am here for everybody, and I really appreciate everybody reaching out to me, trying to get comfortable with me. I just want everybody to make lots of money.
Carmela, just to clarify, if somebody has a group insurance plan with their company, I know you can change the AOR, but can they change their plan when they switch to a new AOR? Or do they have to stay with that plan that they have until open enrollment for them starts?
Sometimes we can get that change, but sometimes not. Normally, they have to stay with that plan until the renewal time. But if I complain enough, maybe we can get that change. I can't guarantee it all the time, but I have gotten that change.
Melanie, quick question. Do we have anything, I know that, we talk to businesses and stuff, but like, do we have anything, any kind of flyer or anything that we can leave along with our business card, as we're talking to somebody's like, all right, well, can you leave me something just, so I can have, do we have anything?
I really do not. Group is not like that, like individual is. Group is different. You basically have to sell yourself. I mean, we have a flyer to go out that we sell group insurance, but I don't have a flyer for Florida Blue or United or Aetna. I don't have anything like that.
No, even can you send out a copy of that group flyer again, just so that I could have, just so that that would be something that I'll bring with me when I talk to people. I would love a copy of that.
Well, the only thing I could suggest is by you giving them a census, we could get quotes, or you could show them a proposal that we've done that we sell Florida Blue, but there's nothing that I could really hand you to give to groups. Kayla, you want to help me out here?
I think you know what, for me, what working well, not that I did doing a lot of group, but what works for me is that to approach people is that, yes, I am a Florida Blue agent, but when it comes to group, they like the fact that we can offer all different companies. So the flyer that is offered, it shows that we offer group insurance. And I think Kayla has that flyer. I saw that. She sent it to me. But yeah, so that explains, like, we don't just represent a Florida Blue, we represent all different companies depending on the size of the company, what fits best for their needs. So I think that's where it's gonna let you go into their door and hopefully get the census or AOR.
Whoever has a copy of that flyer, can they send that to me?
Absolutely. The flyer is very generic in the sense that it advertises Sunsure and not any specific carrier.
Yeah, which is fine, because I'm just saying, just from the standpoint that sometimes we're talking to a person, it's just kind of like, all right, well, I'll call you back, can you hand me something, and just from the standpoint of, they have a card, it's like, yeah, they got your card, but they have that, and it's like, oh yeah, I talked to that guy about group. Yeah, let me give him a call. Just from that standpoint, not not necessarily like a particular carrier, or anything, but just have a copy of it. That'd be very helpful.
Does anybody else have any questions?
All right, guys, if you guys don't have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Carmela at any time. You can either call her, email her. She is always going to be there for you. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining this morning's training. We really appreciate it. We will have more in the future, and we will talk to you soon. Take care, guys.
You guys,
Thank you.
Have a great day.
thank you.
Bye, everyone.